Hey you guys, welcome or welcome back. You are judging people whether you know it or not. And if you aren't, then I think you should start. People oftentimes say, oh, don't judge people, or you shouldn't be over analyzing people. And I can agree with that to a certain extent, but I also feel like it's necessary to judge people because that's where your discernment comes in. You have to be able to analyze situations, people's behaviors. It's generally for your protection because when you are judging a person, you are analyzing them to see the type of person that they might be, how they speak, how they act, how they interact with others, and ultimately that kind of gives you an idea on how to then handle and how to interact with that person. And I'm pretty sure we've all heard this saying, like, don't judge a book by its cover, which I can agree with that because when you think about stereotypes, which can be a problem because not everyone based off of their outer appearance fits the stereotype that comes with it. So say for example, I have locks, but when you see me outside, that doesn't mean like run. I think it's really beneficial to analyze the world from a place of judgment. Of course, not in a negative type of way, in the sense of you're always trying to nitpick, hyper judging a person, or creating false stories, but I mean it from the sense of use judgment to your advantage, which is using discernment. And by discernment, I mean you have to judge something in order to then get a feeling of what it is that your intuition and gut is telling you. And if not anything, I think discernment is one of those things that you should really strengthen, and something that saves a lot of people, especially in the world that we live in today, because I feel like you have to know how to navigate certain situations. And I'm not saying completely understand, but like it's really good to have a sense of idea of how to interact with something or how to approach a certain situation and or person. Of course, you should not be nitpicking at people or trying to find flaws in every single thing. But to be honest, you could also use that to your benefit in the sense of being able to foreshadow different possibilities that may be to come. You can unknowingly dodge a lot of bullets, save yourself from certain situations. There has to be something that you're judging based off of that allows you the certainty to know, like, okay, this is something to dodge, or okay, this is something that I could approach. Also, another benefit to judging is if you're a person who knows what it is that you want out of life, or the things that will make you feel fulfilled as a person, you being a judgmental person could be used to your benefit because you can literally weed out what's for you and what's not for you. So based off of your judgment, which you would have to trust based off of trusting yourself and also knowing what it is that you want and what you don't want, you can curate the best life for yourself. Of course, leaving room for life's mishaps and uncertainties, but your judgment is literally like your inner voice. So let's give the example of if you're on the train late night and it's just you and another person on the cart, but that person looks suspicious. Even if you're not intentionally judging the person, your body will respond in a very uncomfortable, anxious way. So now you have to start to use your intuition to decide, like, okay, based off of the judgment that I have had so far, how do I then proceed next in the situation? So in that particular situation, if I'm already feeling uncomfortable and you're looking very suspicious, I'm gonna get up out that train car. I don't care if it's my stop or not. I'm getting off the train because you're not about to get me. You're not about to get me. I'm sorry. And I think there's a problem with people saying you shouldn't judge a person or you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, because then it's almost like you're entering situations or interactions very naively, blocking out your inner knowings and just that like feeling that you feel. And those are things that you shouldn't ignore, because let's say if you've been told you shouldn't judge people, when you then find yourself in situations that are most likely not of your best interest, you are then going to make yourself feel like, oh, I shouldn't judge this person. Let me allow them to show you. And it's just like, babes, you've been getting the signs from the very beginning. So it's like, don't allow yourself to feel guilty about judging people, because ultimately that judgment that you have could save your life or just prevent you from dealing with situations that you don't have to deal with. So Don't look at judgment as a bad thing. We are all doing it consciously or subconsciously. As humans, we are very visual. Before you get to know a person, whether you know it or not, what you see is the first thing that your judgment is being created off of. Then it comes to like the energy that you feel from a person and then their actions. You have to judge people. I think you'll be doing yourself a disservice, and it'll be really naive to go based off of because something looks or presents himself in a way that appears to be good doesn't mean that it is good. Your judgment allows you to decide whether you want to step in a little bit or step back a little bit in situations or just with people. So don't ever feel guilty. Like I said, you shouldn't be nitpicking at people because at the end of the day, commonly, if you're a person who's always judging people, then that can also be a reflection of yourself and how you feel about yourself that you're just projecting onto people. So I'm not speaking about judgment from that way. So you judging is basically you allowing yourself and your experience to form a perception of the thing or the person. Your judgment is one of your best tools. Remember, that little voice in your head can literally save you. So become best friends with it. And I'm talking about the good voice, the godly voice. So thank you for tuning into this video.